Hello, everybody. Mike here.
And I'm Bryce. Thank you for tuning in to a special edition of the Jedi Archives, where we're taking a little bit of a break from the High Republic to give you our one-shot Cassian and K2SO Rogue One comic review today.
In preparation for the release of the new Andor show, we're excited to share this one-shot release comic with you and give you our review. So I'm going to start off, as per usual, with my League of Comic Geeks, which, by the way, I submitted 2 covers that weren't on there. So that was pretty cool, and they were accepted. So
there you go.
I'm excited about that.
Mike, are you platinum yet on that?
Not quite, but here we go. All right, so here we have it. Star Wars Rogue One, Cassian and K2SO Special Edition #1. So Cassian Andor is one of the top intelligence agents in the ranks of the Rebel Alliance, ably assisted by his reprogrammed Imperial security droid K2SO. But naturally, the two weren't always on the same side of the Galactic Civil War. Now, for the first time, read the story of the pair's first contentious meeting. It is very likely not to go well. And this did come out a couple of years ago.
Yep.
So we're just going to get into it. And here's the main cover. Can you see that? So this is, of course, what I have as my background. It's the original Andor cover, and I really like it. I'm a fan. I love the insignia in the background.
Yeah.
You know, the little, like the rays coming out of it. And then the
very cool comic cover.
X-Wings look great. Colors are great. Gives it a real gritty feel.
Yeah, which is exactly what Rogue One was as a movie. So it was fitting.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to say about this cover?
No, I think he touched on all of it.
Pretty cool.
I like how, the artist does a really good job with making Cassian look a lot like Diego Luna. So,
lots.
That, but yep, done really well.
And here's the textless variant, and I uploaded this one, which was accepted. So that's pretty cool. So I got another 3 points for that. And here you can just really appreciate the art. This would make a really nice poster.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, for sure.
I like it a lot. And then we have this action figure variant.
Very common with the Marvel comics that they pull a character or whatever out of the book and do a Kenner style like vintage action figure cover.
I like it. Of course, I collected these figures when they were out. I mean, the original Kenners. So it's definitely appreciated by middle-aged men like myself.
Yep.
And we also have this cover, which is, here we go. It has another shot of our hero Cassian and K2SO running from
from the
danger.
Imperial. Yeah. The thing that I think would have been awesome cover, so I'm not like taking anything away from the cover, but what have really been cool here is we have them running away. We have the TIE fighters. What would have been cool is instead of the star, this destroyer there, is if we had an actual Imperial symbol like we do on the main cover,
right?
Imperial symbol and have it a little bit more ominous, where that to me would have been kind of cool to do it that way, but great cover regardless.
Mm-hmm. I do like the blue of his Hoth coat with the snow.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me. Some nice cover. Nice, cool cover. Those colors. It's very cool. And then we have this cover, which I also uploaded. It's the Oz Comic Con variant. That's really cool too. That almost looks like the symbol in the background, but
yeah,
not quite. And here we see Cassian, our hero, doing not so well with K2SO.
And some other security droids.
Yeah, a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
So there's a whole legion of them. I like the detail on his face too. You can see he's like, poor guy. He's definitely a worker rebel.
He's definitely the guy that's willing to get his hands dirty to complete a mission.
Mm-hmm. So in total, 5 nice covers. Let's get back to our original. And I like them all. I'm a fan. So here we have the
comic.
Yes, Bryce?
It's a very good comic too.
Yeah. So our characters were limited for this episode, this edition. It's Cassian Andor himself. We have K2SO, and then we have the twins, Curtis and Rismore. And then, they're twins, but they're not identical. Curtis has these little like spikes on her nose, and Rismore has them around her mouth.
Yep.
So that's why I tell them apart. And this is their first appearance, the first appearance for Curtis and Rismore, and then I haven't seen them anywhere else. There's not much on them. I tried looking them up. Don't know what planet they're from. Don't even know what species they are, but they are kind of cool because they communicate with scent. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, definitely unique.
So now let's get into the comic itself. So I'm going to share the comic. Which I have on my Kindle now, which is, since Prime owns Comixology. And they seem to have fixed it a little bit. Did I tell you, Bryce? They have
a couple weeks ago when we were discussing, you said they've been making some upgrades, so that's good.
They have a beta version that maybe I'll try it out today. That goes panel by panel. It's pretty cool, but still not as good as Comixology's was, which could zoom in a lot on each panel. So here we have the original cover, and then we go in, and I like this Rebels report right off the bat. It's pretty cool. I like the way it's written up, like, here's your mission. Reminds me of Mission Impossible, or do the little mission. So we know the operatives are Rebel Intelligence Officer Cassian Andor and our Rebel spies Curtis and Rismore. They are. Their mission is to extract Imperial security protocols and then attempt to evade detection. Special notes.
Yep. Attempt. This is a key word.
Attempt. And then we start out right into the action. So we see we've got this view looking at Andor and the twins in the background. And he's talking to the droid. And then we hear the voice, but we don't see the droid. So it's from K2SO's point of view. So I like this point of view. It's pretty cool. And then it doesn't look so good for him because he's going to detain him and terminate his life if he resists.
Right. Yep. Which is typical K2.
Yeah. Then it goes back to a few hours ago. So flashback to how we get to that point.
Yep.
So they're traveling to the colonies, which when I pulled up the map, because I like to see the map. Did you pull up the map, Bryce?
I did not pull up the map.
Do you know where the colonies are?
Outer Rim still.
Actually, no. So the colonies were, they're like in the mid-rim. Mm-hmm. So the colonies, it's called the colonies, but they're very well populated now. And maybe I can pull up that picture of that map. But so they're traveling into the colonies, which is they're going to Wikeko, which is in K13 on the map. That's where they're going to try to get this. So here we have Cassian talking to the twins, having conversation with them, and they're sitting there.
They don't really talk.
Yeah, they don't. Well, they communicate with scent. So he's like talking to himself, but it seems like they're all on the same page. And then he says it's a backwater world. So it's a desert planet, lots of desert planets in Star Wars. Wikeko, And then he's taking them because they're specialists, and the twins are going to be able to extract that information that they need. So I like the look.
Art's good.
And then we get this double panel, which I love because this double panel, it's kind of like the Where's Waldo?
Yes, thank you. That's exactly what it was. When I first saw it, that was my first instinct. It was like, man, this looks like I should be looking for like things throughout there. Like, is there a list somewhere on the side? But yeah, that's a really cool panel.
Yeah, there is a list, and I actually pulled it up. So I'm going to point them out if I may. And we have on this page, because there's all these sentient species that are introduced in this episode. We've got the Aqualish, the Barabel, the Devronian, the Dracelian, the humans, of course, Clatunians, Nogri, Rhodian, Triani, the unidentified furry species, the Verpine, the Wookiee, and the Zeltron. I'm a big fan of the Zeltron. You'll see him at the bottom here. He's the pink guy with the purple hair.
Okay.
And I like the Zeltron because I just finished reading the Shadow of the Sith, and there was a Zeltron where they went to get help. Poor Rey with her parents, and he just kind of, turned them in because there was more money worth turning them in than actually helping them. So there's a Zeltron. We also have this unidentified furry species up there by the stormtroopers. I don't know, do you see my arrow, Bryce?
Yeah.
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Unidentified furry species. He's pretty cool. We have the other one on this page is a Triani first appearance, which is right here. Oops. He's got like a panther head.
Gotcha.
Goggles, see him? It's pretty cool. First appearance for the Triani. We've got the Clatunian, which is right here. Right. We know the Clatunians pretty well. We have, who else do we have here? The Dracelian. Oh, the Dracelians, these are the prune face guys. Remember them? The prune face guys? So they're bald, but their faces are kind of like prunish. And then we also have the Devronian back here.
Oh, there he is. I was trying to look for.
From the Cantina.
A list from?
From Wikipedia. And then, of course, we have here the Greedo species, the Rhodian. Yeah, the Rhodian here. So those are the ones that I was able to find 8 on this page. So those are the 8 I found.
That's sweet. I guess I didn't have any idea that they had a list there. That's cool that they did that.
Yeah. So, but I was really happy about the Zeltron. So, because they're pink with purple hair, like that. All right. So here we see Cassian, and he's telling the twins, Curtis and Rismore, let's try to blend in, which should be easy because it's so diverse here. And so the thing about Wikiko, it has a lot of immigrants. So this is like the general population. So it's very blended, really nice. And then here they go. Oh, and on this page, we have some other nice introductions. So here we have this one here is the Verpine, which is kind of like an insectoid creatures. The Verpine, and then we have the Nogri back here. So first appearance of a Nogri in a comic.
Nice.
And he's, of course, Thrawn's assistant is a Nogri. So it's nice to have him here. And the Nogri also are really good at communicating by scent. So it's interesting. We have the Nogri who uses scent, and we also have the twins that also communicate by scent. So, and then last on this, Where's Waldo? We have
Transocean.
No, he's not a Trandoshan. He's let me see, what is he? He is a Barabel. So Barabel species. He is like a Trandoshan, so he is a lizard-like creature, and their scales are impervious to blasters. So
wow.
It's pretty cool. And they have these needle-sharp teeth. So kind of like, I thought it was a Trandoshan too, but it says in the sentient species list that he's a Barabel.
Okay.
So,
nice.
So he's still, we have these bubbles, these yellow bubbles that are Cassian
Yep.
thinking to himself, right?
Yep.
Or his internal monologue. And then you can see whenever they do communicate, they have these 3 dots. So that means that there's been some kind of a scent that goes by. And sometimes it's not a pleasant scent. So
right. Yeah.
so depending on what they're saying or how they're communicating. And it's supposed to be a pretty easy pickup, right? It's supposed to be no resistance on this planet. And then all of a sudden, who do they see?
A lot of troopers.
A lot of troopers, the whole garrison there. So, and then Cassian's like, well, I know what my commander would say. He'd say, get out of there. But Cassian's not the type to give up easily. So he's still going to go for his mission.
Yep.
And they break in. He's like, come on, twins.
Yep, the easy part.
And there it is, what they were looking for. A decommissioned Imperial cruiser just sitting right there with all the information that they need.
Yep.
And he tells the twins, go ahead, dig in. And then they're, of course, not communicating, but little dots.
Judging by that scent, I might need to shut up.
Yes. So he's starting to learn their communication. Then all of a sudden, of course, alarms. Whoop, 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 whoop. So he's going to try to figure something out. He's like, we got to go now.
Yep.
And they say something, not sure, but they're not moving. He's like, I mean it now.
Right.
They're trying to get out. But then they're surrounded. You can see the droids are there and the troopers, and it doesn't look good for our heroes.
Right.
Oops. And then he's like, wait a minute, I've got an idea. You guys stay here. So he runs out there and he kicks this metal object to make a noise. And of course,
here's our spoiler alert, our future hero.
K2SO himself. He hears it. He heads on over to investigate. Oops. And he tells him, don't move. Cassian's like, I surrender. Come get me. He's like, I said, don't move. He's like, I'm not moving. Come arrest me. And K2's like, you're pretty eager to get arrested.
Right. I'm going to call for backup. Like you can already tell, the building of that relationship we see in the movie before they're even on the same side. It's still, I hear Alan Tudyk in my head when I read this.
I do too.
And Diego Luna too, as well, as when I read this. So that was kind of the neat part, is already having watched the movie and then reading the comic to give a little bit of a backstory of these two was really cool, because then you can kind of like hear the comic a little bit more than just reading it and looking at the the photos.
Yeah, and speaking of hearing the comic, if you're not familiar already with the audio comics on YouTube, it's they do have voice actors that sound very much like Diego Luna and Alan Tudyk, so
that's cool.
I enjoy that quite a bit.
I'll have to check that link out afterwards.
Yeah, cool. Sure. It'll be nice. So he's letting. Of course, he's planning to do something, right? Diego Luna's not just going to let himself get captured.
Yep.
So K2SO comes up to him, says, remain still while I attach these binders to you. And our hero jumps into action, flipping over the droid. He's like, what are you doing?
Right, he's trying to find the kill switch.
He's like, I'm going to put you down for a quick nap, buddy. It's like, what model are you anyway? So he's working off of obsolete information. There's no kill switch. Like, oh no. Bam, he cracks his back on the wall. And then he's like, oh, I think I'm in over my head. And the droid's going to get him. He's like, stay still. And lucky for our hero, the twins come in at this moment and click, click.
Yeah. Then the funny part is like, it's all the way down there. Like the way he says it, the way it's, written here, it's like, it's all the way down there. And like, we kind of know where there is when we look at the previous page and see the click, click and where our hands are pointing. So
down here, right?
So
it's like on it. Kind of like on his little bottom, right? And this big old heavy droid's falling on top of our Cassian. It's like, all right, we got to wipe his memory.
Yep.
So he asks the twins, see if they know. And he acknowledges he doesn't have the most current information, but he's going to try to wipe his memory.
And now we're back to that very first panel of the first page.
And this is where we started. So here, but now we see it from this point of view. What is your designation? I don't know. That's good. That's very good. However, I am compelled to report that only 29.73% of my memory has been erased, which means I must detain you, and if you resist, terminate your life. So This was, of course, the opening of the comic. It's pretty cool to see it again. Different perspective.
Yep.
And then our hero Cassian asks for Curtis Rismore's help once more. He's like, whatever you did, do it again. He's trying to get his name. And then click, click. And of course, there she is behind him, touching him down there to shut him down. And he's shut down again. So then he's waiting for him to reboot. It's like, that should be enough time. Let's reboot him, turn him back on. When he comes on, he's like, K2, here's your new orders. No, I'm in command. And he tells him to lead him to the ship and then protect them from other stormtroopers. And if anyone interferes, to take them out.
And I like how the response here with K2 is, I am, as you say, take them out.
Totally Tudyk's voice.
Yeah.
And, oh, here's another Where's Waldo page. I think. Oh, no, not this page. Nope. There's nobody new on here. It's got the Devronian down there. Same characters, so nobody new.
Yeah, and this time we're just seeing K2 walking the three of them to the ship.
Right, all four. And then the troopers see K2 because he's, of course, quite imposing. Like, where are you going? Yep. And then K2 spills the beans. I'm escorting these 3 rebel spies to their ship. He's like, you're what?
Right.
And he repeats it, you know. And he's like, but I have to warn you, if you try to stop me, I'm going to take you both out. And the troopers are like, arrest him. Arrest them. And then Cassian's like, hey, K2, grab the twins. Don't let them get hurt. Because they're important. You know, they can get all the information.
Yeah, they seem vital at this point to the rebellion.
Mm-hmm. And then Cassian's running with them, and they're trying to get away. The troopers are calling for backup. And then all of a sudden, some kind of communication with exclamation marks.
Yep.
And Cassian's like, what's that smell? What is it, Rismore? He's like, oh, this is not good. Their ship is, of course, completely surrounded. There's no way they're getting on that ship. And they're like, we have to find another way out. So he tells K2 to do something. And K2's like, wait a minute. You said you were in command. You want me to decide now? He's like, yeah, you do it. He's like, then I'm going to detain you and terminate your life. We're back to that again. And
here we actually see one of the twins take off. What Rismore takes off.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually see Curtis stay behind and actually say something like to Diego, like in
basic, in galactic basic,
yeah, yep. And then like go now, and then she takes off as well.
Right. And I don't know if they have super speed or what, but it looks like they're running pretty fast.
Yeah. I do love how they portray that. Like, nope. And even in the panel where Curtis takes off, is you could see the dust behind her as well. Like, so they may have, pretty
enhanced abilities.
Yep. Very possible.
So then she tells him that K2, that the droid has all the intel that they need. He's like, what? K2 does? All right, I understand.
Yep.
He doesn't understand. So they're like, just get him back, get him back safely. That's all we need. Because the twins were fiddling around with the wreckage, but they told him just take the droid back. And they're like, oh, there goes the other one. And then, of course, K2 goes back to, now is a good time. Is now a good time to detain you? It's so funny.
Right.
And their ship blows up. Boom. So Cassian's like, oh, this is not good. We need to find another ship. And K2's still hell-bent on detaining him. And or terminating his life or doing something. He's not sure which of those.
Got to do one more little flip of the switch.
Yeah. So he's like, I got no choice. Like, hey, what does he tell him? You shouldn't touch me there.
Yeah.
I like that part. Like, sorry, I've got no choice. He's like, but do I have a choice? And then, not if I do this, click, click. And that's on K2's bottom, little button. And he shuts down. And so K2's laying there useless on the floor. And the troopers are coming. He's like, come on, buddy. Reboot, reboot. And he wakes up. And he's not sure what to do. So sounds like the reboot was successful.
Yep.
And so he tells K2 we need to find a new ship and steal it. And if any stormtroopers come around, terminate their lives. And of course, yep. He's all for it.
Yeah. So he finally gets to do something.
Yeah. He's like, I understand completely. Then he, of course, tells him they've only got 11.8% chance of survival, of success. And he's like, oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Now we see that in Rogue One too.
Yeah, repeatedly. So that's his he's good at that.
Do you want to know the
odds
percentage that she's going to use that blaster on you? No, I do not. Well, it's very, very high.
So they find a new ship. He's trying to, hack his way into it, but he can't get in. And finally says, and then K2 tells him, that's not the way you're going to get in. It's not going to work. He's like, well, then help me. And bam, he just kicks the door down.
Right.
And I thought, if he kicks the door down, can they still go into space? Doesn't that affect the integrity? But I guess they've got like a shield.
Well, I mean, we see that in The Mandalorian.
That's right.
When they escaped, the spider planet there.
Right.
Still themselves in the hall because that's the only place that's got the integrity to keep the space atmosphere from coming inside.
Right. So it's got to be like some force field when they travel.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to cut it off to where they can fly with the door open.
So they're about to escape. And then they're shooting at them, but of course they're able to get out. And then I can't remember, but is this the ship that they have in Rogue One?
No, it kind of looks like a U-wing, but
it looks like a U-wing. Okay. I thought, is that a U-wing?
That's much bigger than a U-wing.
Okay. So our heroes escape, now he knows where the switch is, and of course the banter goes on between these two. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's typical banter between Cassian and K2. And they jump to light speed and they've escaped.
And I like the fact that we see the twins.
Yes.
Which my feelings are like the twins are the ones that caused the explosion of the ship to begin with. But I thought like they had sacrificed themselves, and then to see them here, I was like, oh, they're still there. So
alive and well, and they're near a Wookiee too, and that Wookiee looks just like Chewbacca.
A little bit, yeah. So I'm curious, like with these two characters, if we would see them in Andor the first season anyway, because we now know this comic is how Cassian meets K2SO. And we also know that season 1, we don't see K2SO. This is how Andor, kind of it becomes what we see in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
I know, unless we get this comic played out somehow in season 1, maybe season 2, maybe the twins, we'll see them in live action. That'd be cool.
I was thinking that too. And, of course, season 1 is 5 years before. And this comic takes place 2 years before. So I don't think we'll see them or K2 in season 1 of Cassian unless they change the timeline.
Yeah.
But definitely in season 2, because season 2 catches them right up to Rogue One. So it's the 4 years in
I'd
between.
hate to see him retcon the comic. I mean, I know they could, but I'd hate to see him retcon this just because this was a really cool comic. And, we've got some cool characters in there. But, yeah, it'd be kind of neat to see if the twins actually show up in live action somewhere there. And
it would be an easy one to do too, because they kind of look like humans with makeup.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't take up too much special effects.
Yeah. It would be kind of cool to show up.
One other Where's Waldo that I found in here is the Aqualish. So if you look here in the panel where they escape, there's an Aqualish there. I think that's it. Those were all of the little hidden people and creatures in this comic. Last thing, he's like, so Captain Andor, he's like, yeah. And final panel. It's strange. I no longer will have the overwhelming urge to detain you. And he's like, thanks, K2. I appreciate that. You know, I'm always here to help. So
yeah, so
yeah,
very cool. Obviously, we kind of then know what kind of. I feel like this is like where we would flip to like season 2. I know season 2 of Andor, those 12 episodes are supposed to take place and lead right into Rogue One. So
right.
Be interesting to how they incorporate, K2 in season 2 and how the Andor story plays out. Very excited to see this first season because I think the first season is that 5-year mark, but it's like just the 5-year mark.
It's just that year, right? So it's that year before.
Goes through like year 4, year 3, year 2, year 1, and it leads right into Rogue One. So interesting how they're going to do it. I think it'd be kind of neat to see the twins show up. Maybe they're something that shows up in season 2, but really cool comic. Love always like getting some of those origin stories, in these one shots, similar to C-3PO and how he got his red arm that we see in The Force Awakens, right? That was written.
Right.
So, really cool how they do some of those one shots that actually really have a lot of meaning, I think, in the overall galaxy. Like, how did Cassian meet K2 in Rogue One, and so instead of, writing it in a blurb in a book or something like that, they dedicate a comic book to it, which is really cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. So thanks for joining us. That's the end of this issue. Hope you liked it, and I'm really excited to see how they show up in the series, if they show up at all for Andor. Like Bryce said, and it would be cool to see the twins, maybe even in the first season, doing some of their special skills, what they're good at.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, and then that way they can bring them in. So any final thoughts?
No, it's obviously starting here August, we're going to be doing Andor August. So all of our shows, Jedi Archives, our Unifying Force, our Rebels Revisited, and our watch-alongs on Thursday nights, all that stuff's going to be Andor focused all the way up to the premiere on the 31st of Andor. So we got a really heavy schedule. So stay tuned. We got a lot of really cool stuff coming to you. And of course, our partner pages of, Star Wars Book Nerds, Star Wars Comic Book Club, so excited.
So we'll see you all very soon, and hit like and subscribe, and may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.